What is one fact you know that will make other people respond with "and why the FK do you know that?" Sometimes, when horses are bored, they slap their dong to their underside to fap. I witnessed the Clydesdale do this at Grant's farm. Absolutely scarring. Many species of sea cucumbers have evolved to have teeth in their anus to ward off potential inhabitants. Australian box jellyfish have 64 anuses. About one girl out of 100,000 will have the vaginal and anal tracts fused together, meaning that they can in fact get pregnant doing anal. Do women know when they have this condition, or is it not very obvious? Usually people can tell if it's bad enough, because their vagina will smell bad or it is sometimes predisposed to recurrent infection. It's called erectovaginal fistula. It can be surgically corrected. Most cruise ships are equipped with a morgue to account for any passengers who die during the voyage. I read somewhere that many old people are actually starting to use cruise ships as assisted living facilities when they can no longer get by on their own. The tickets for a month of cruises are about the same as a month's stay in a facility. There is plenty to do on board to keep them active. Cooking and cleaning is taken care of, and the weather is usually beautiful. This is something my bio teacher taught me last year. Basically, male barnacles have the longest peanuts to body ratio, and the peanuts actually extends out of the barnacle and goes searching around for female barnacles to have sex with. Stop calling Danny DeVito a barnacle. You can hang yourself in 3 ways: rope really short, suffocation, medium length rope, breakneck, really long rope, decapitation. Yep, the British Empire in the 1800s had hangings down to a perfect system. They knew exactly how long to set the rope based off of size and weight of the condemned to achieve the perfect neck break every time. They were also incredibly efficient in the actual process of hanging someone. It took them very little time to do it. All these skills, lost to time. Humanite has a distinct smell that's different from other commonly encountered poops. You ever smell pigget? Pigget smells very similar to humanite. I work on a farm and have developed an uncanny ability to identify different types of it by smell. If only there was a way to use my powers for good. The most babies born to one woman is 69 in the 1700s. Regarding the Museum of Mummies, Ferdinand I of Naples governed by oppression. He had zero compassion for his defeated enemies, and after falsely promising them amnesty, he had them murdered instead. After their murders, he would have them mummified and added to his museum of mummies dressed in their clothes. If he thought anyone was plotting against him, he'd simply take them on a casual tour of the museum, which was totally morbid, but effective. I too am hyped about Crusader Kings 3. Since frogs have long tongues, they can't use it to push food down their throat like humans do. So when they have food in their mouths, they close their eyes and push the food down their throats with their eyeballs. They also vomit by throwing up their entire stomach, emptying it with their hands and then swallowing their stomach again. So they swallow their stomach with their eyes at that point. I just threw up. Did you clean your stomach? It takes more than 6 standard concrete blocks to hold a human body underwater after death. Is that with or without cutting the gut open? I see you're already learning. FBI and MI5 in shambles trying to suppress the information from this thread. Unless you cut the guts open before you dump the body. Man, this thread has been so full of useful facts. Vibrators were the 5th domestic electrical device invented. Most birds don't have intermittent reproductive organs, like a peanut's or vagina, and they share their genes through a hole, called the cloaca, that leads to their inner organs. The act is called a cloacal kiss and is over super fast. Most duck species, however, do have intermittent organs. The peanut is shaped like a corkscrew and can be 50% or more of the length of the duck in some species. This is because the vagina is an elaborate maze of twists and turns, creating an evolutionary arms race between the exes. The longest duck dong award goes to the Argentine lake duck. Though he is a mere 15 inches long, his dangling corkscrew is up to 16 inches erect. Now that's gotta produce some drag. Thank you for that amazing info. I'll add duck dongs to the list of things that make me insecure of my peanut size. I mean, I'm kinda cool with it. I'm not sure my so would appreciate me corkscrewing my 3-foot dong into her guts. Why is goose geese, but moose is not meese? Well, I'm glad you asked. Goose has Germanic origins and thus follows the Germanic pluralization in the same manner as foot to feet, tooth to teeth, etc. However, the word moose was incorporated into the English language some 200 years later and has Native American origins. Yay! Look at all those freaking meese. The human body can literally expel feces out of your mouth instead of your ass. I used to know a nurse who had to deal with it once. The guy was constipated so badly that he was eating out of his mouth, I guess. Anyway, she said it's the worst thing she's ever smelled. Way worse, it's just straight poop apparently. Well, I guess it's like it, but also vomit at the same time. Plus it must come all the way from the intestines, and that can't smell great. Mammals from house cats to elephants take about the same time to urinate. 21 seconds on average, I seen an elephant pee at the zoo before. It was cold and the ground had a few inches on ice and the elephant pee melted through to the ground. Thank you for my first silver, I appreciate it. When I saw an elephant pee at the zoo, she turned around to make sure people had a good view. It was weird. Ireland's rail gauge is slightly wider than the international standard, yet its tram system uses the international standard. The largest walnut grove in the world is located outside the small village of Arslanbab, in mountainous southern Kyrgyzstan. Local oral legend has it the grove was planted by a migrant wise man nicknamed Arslan the Wanderer. DNA analysis of the trees has confirmed they are not native to the region, and the local population came to the area from a related batch of seeds about 1,000 years ago. After Alois Alzheimer gave the first ever speech describing the symptoms of Alzheimer's disease, no one in the audience asked him any questions or made any follow-up comments, because they were all much more excited to hear the next guy on the list give a speech about compulsive masturbation. Who knew that masturbation could make you forget all about Alzheimer's? Erections that last more than 4 hours are considered bad, because the buildup of deoxygenated blood causes the dong to be disfigured and later cause gangrene. It's called priapism, and it's also extremely painful. In extreme cases, the penis is numbed with a local anesthetic, and blood is removed from the penis with needles and syringes. Don't take ED pills if you don't need them. That would be the worst thing ever. You gotta rush into the hospital to get needles in your dong, but also have to show random people your erection, and they know you can't get hard on your own. Talk about traumatizing. If you're having to go to the hospital for priapism, there's a good chance you can get hard on your own. People take ED pills recreationally. Right, so they can intimidate their opponents on the basketball court. When the Pilgrims first landed in America, they found these weird dirt mounds in a field. So they dug them up and discovered they were Native American graves. Oops. They returned everything, but then came back later to take the cooking pots and utensils that had been buried with the corpses. They apparently packed really light on the way over and didn't bring basic household essentials, which would be really useful in, I don't know, starting a frickin' colony. Boston is roughly on the same latitude as Barcelona. The Pilgrims thought they were getting a Mediterranean climate, not a freezing winter. The slitting of the front of the throat is much more improbable than most people realize, given a bone is actually blocking the spot that most see in movies, TV shows. If, in fact, a movie wanted to be more realistic, they would instead have the sides of the throat slit because of the main artery that sits in that spot. Don't buy rabbit already skinned and gutted. Could well be cat. They look really similar if it's already skinned. You need to see the kidneys to tell. They're installed in a different config. Second, don't make risky meat purchases from a Sunday market trailer in a shady part of town. You can definitely tell by the teeth. Pro tip: always get ones with the head still attached. They're installed in a different config. Is this the generally accepted skinned rabbit buying industry lingo? Open the guts of a body before disposing in water so they won't inflate and are able to sink all the way to the bottom, like stabbing a baked potato with a fork before cooking. Exactly. In both cases it is edible. Redacted. What can I say? I like to research true crime. The Nazis bled Soviet children dry to provide blood transfusions for injured troops. Wow. After scrolling this far down, this is the one that really got me fricked up. Male moths can vibrate their testicles at will to throw off bats. MLB umpires are required to wear black underwear in case their pants split during a game. My flight attendant uniform policy says something similar. Underwear had to be black, navy blue. There's no way to really enforce it unless you have it sticking out of your uniform. Instead of a peanuts, male sharks have two claspers. They're made of the same cartilage as their skeleton and also attached to their pelvis. So legs? Only a matter of time before they evolve into land sharks. This is the real cost of climate change, boys. Land sharks that walk on their penises. If you want to skin a human alive, you have to do it in a warm room, otherwise he will die of the cold. because his skin doesn't isolate him anymore. Ahem. Excuse me, what the frick? Ahem. Excuse me, the correct answer is NY the FK. Do you know that? Won't they die when they lose about 1/3 of skin anyway? Or do I remember something wrong? Not if you are good. Remember, practice makes perfect. Don't be disappointed if it doesn't work at first. Babies don't have kneecaps. Officer Baby Legs has entered the chat. Babies have 4 kidneys. When they grow up, they have 2 kidneys and 2 adult knees. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please smash the like button and leave a comment which story you liked the most. Subscribe and hit the bell notification for updates on our latest videos. And don't forget to check the links in the description box for more awesome content.